Can you imagine a single event that could change the destiny of an entire nation overnight? Well, it happened. In the mid-19th century, a glittering discovery in a remote corner of America sparked a frenzy that would reshape the country forever. This is the story of the California Gold Rush, a tale of hope, chaos, and transformation. Our story begins in 1848, a quiet year at a sawmill owned by a man named John Sutter in Coloma, California. One morning, his carpenter, James Marshall, was inspecting the water channel and saw something shimmering in the creek bed. It wasn't just a rock, it was gold. At first, they tried to keep it a secret, but a secret this big, it was impossible to contain. Word leaked out, slowly at first, then like a wildfire. A San Francisco newspaper publisher ran through the streets, waving a bottle of gold dust, shouting, "Gold, gold, gold from the American River." Suddenly, the sleepy town of San Francisco emptied. Shops closed, farms were abandoned, and soldiers deserted their posts. Everyone had one thing on their mind: getting rich. By 1849, the news had circled the globe. The gold rush was on. The people who flocked to California in that year became known as the 49ers, and they came from everywhere. Farmers from Missouri, clerks from New York, and sailors from Massachusetts packed their bags and headed west. They traveled by sea, enduring treacherous journeys around the tip of South America. Others braved the overland trails, crossing vast prairies and treacherous mountains, facing disease, starvation, and exhaustion. It wasn't just Americans. Tens of thousands of people from China, Mexico, Chile, Peru, and Europe boarded crowded ships, all dreaming of a better life. In just a few years, more than 300,000 people descended upon California. The state's population exploded, turning what was once a sparsely populated territory into a bustling, multicultural frontier. The Great Migration West was more than just a movement of people. It was a tidal wave of humanity that would forever alter the American landscape. Imagine arriving in California and seeing towns spring up from nothing, almost overnight. Places that were just dusty fields one month were sprawling, chaotic cities the next. San Francisco transformed from a tiny village of a few hundred people into a metropolis of over 30,000 in just a couple of years. These new settlements were called boomtowns, and they were electric with energy and ambition. The demand for goods and services was astronomical. A simple loaf of bread or a dozen eggs could sell for what would be hundreds of dollars today. Entrepreneurs who weren't even digging for gold made fortunes. They opened hotels, saloons, laundries, and supply stores. They built roads and started shipping lines. Levi Strauss, a name we all know today, got his start selling durable denim pants to miners. The economic boom was staggering. But this rapid growth came with a dark side. These boomtowns were lawless places. With so much money and so many desperate people in one place, crime was rampant. Robberies, claim jumping, and violence were common. There were few official police or courts, so miners often took the law into their own hands, forming vigilante committees. Life in the mining camps was brutal. The work was backbreaking and dangerous, with miners standing in freezing water for hours, risking cave-ins and accidents. Many found not riches, but disease, poverty, and an early grave. While individual miners struggled, the sheer amount of gold being pulled from the earth had a colossal impact on the United States as a whole. The gold rush injected hundreds of millions of dollars into the American economy. This massive influx of wealth helped finance the country's rapid industrial growth during the latter half of the 19th century. Factories boomed, cities expanded, and America began to emerge as a global economic power. Perhaps the most significant long-term effect of this new wealth was the push to connect the continent. The dream of a transcontinental railroad had existed for years, but now it had the funding and the urgency it needed. The government and private investors, fueled by gold money, poured resources into this monumental project. In 1869, the final spike was driven in Utah, linking the East Coast with the West Coast by rail. This iron artery unified the nation, making travel and trade faster and cheaper than ever before. California, once a distant frontier, was now a vital and integrated part of the United States. It quickly became a state in 1850, and its agricultural and commercial power, built on the foundation of gold, continued to grow. The gold rush didn't just change America's economy, it changed its soul. The massive influx of immigrants created a level of diversity California had never seen. People from different countries, speaking different languages, and practicing different religions, were suddenly living and working side by side. This created a unique cultural melting pot, laying the groundwork for the multicultural society that defines California today. New foods, traditions, and ideas flowed through the boomtowns, creating a vibrant and dynamic social fabric. However, this story also has a tragic and often overlooked chapter. For the Native American populations who had lived in California for centuries, the gold rush was a catastrophe. The arrival of hundreds of thousands of miners decimated their communities. Their lands were seized, their food sources destroyed, and they were subjected to violence and disease. The miners had little regard for the indigenous people, and the new state government passed laws that stripped them of their rights and sanctioned their removal. It's a devastating legacy of the rush for riches, a stark reminder that the pursuit of wealth often comes at a profound human cost. In the end, the California gold rush was more than just a search for treasure. It was a catalyst that accelerated American history. It triggered a massive migration, built cities out of dust, financed an industrial revolution, and stitched the country together with steel rails. It created unimaginable fortunes for a lucky few and heartbreaking despair for many others. It forged a new, multicultural identity for the West, while tragically displacing its original inhabitants. Few events in history have had such a sudden and profound impact. In the span of just a few years, a glint of gold in a riverbed transformed a nation and set it on a new course. The echo of the gold rush still resonates today, a powerful story of ambition, opportunity, and the complex, often contradictory, making of modern America. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time.